Hello everyone. This month's mental health uh, topic is a PTSD and trauma. Um, so before I even start the light intro, I want to say that that the information that I'm going to bring up, that part of it is personal knowledge, personal experiences. Some of it comes from Google AI. Some of it will come from the VA. Their a PTSD website. Some of it will come from NAMI. That's spelled NAMI. Yeah, because they focus on mental like illnesses. So those are the I guess like the sources that will be utilized for this a monthly mental health video. So diving in, um, why put an emphasis on PTSD and trauma? Well, there's a personal aspect of it, of course, but I'll get to that in a minute. I want to put an emphasis on these two topics as main topics due to the relationship between the two that can sometimes go overlooked or not be recognized in some instances for whatever reason. Now the personal like aspect of this, as some of you may already know, yeah, I've been going to and doing various types of therapy, like over the last several years. And including right now in the present, as I talk about these topics. While going through while going through the therapy and doing some personal research, that I've found and come to understand that a lot of the trauma that I've endured over the years are at least the worst traumatic events that I've experienced, that they have impacted me on a more permanent basis, and having influence whether or not that I develop and exhibit symptoms of PTSD. with that being said, that I think that bigger emphasis needs to be placed on the chosen co-main mental health topics for this month, to help spread and to increase awareness by taking a step to increase the overall awareness, that I am also helping to increase the knowledge and the understanding, which I think are equally important. For this first definition of PTSD that I am going to state, will be coming from the VA National Center for PTSD, and it states that it's a mental health problem that some people develop after experiencing or witnessing a life threatening event, such as combat, natural disaster, a car accident, or sexual um, um, assault, just to name a few. Now, this next definition for PTSD that I'm going to state comes from the NAMI website, as they study mental illnesses. It's medical diagnosis based on individuals' personal experience with trauma, and the subsequent impacts that experience has on their life. So, learning to recognize potential signs of PTSD. And a lot of the information that I'm going to mention on this topic will be coming from both the VA and also from NAMI. So it's a prolonged period, generally more than a month, a month of having persistent symptoms, which I will go into next. So one symptom is reliving the event as if it was happening right now. So that can include setting memories and or unwanted memories of that event. It can also include having like flashbacks and or having nightmares. So also it can be like having avoidance of things that remind you like of the event that happened. It can be an inability to remember certain aspects like of the traumatic event. Like your mind only remembers like, I guess, like what happened like right before, but then you don't have like memory of everything that happened once the event happened, which for me, that I've gone through that, and personally, it's like the brain's way of trying to protect us, because it can sense that if we knew like all of the facts, like everything that happened, that we may not be able to cope or to deal with it. Like at the present moment. It can also be feeling on edge, like easily startled, like always, like having to like watch your back, like the at least like a little noise that scares you or it startles you. It can also be having an increased negative thoughts and our feelings, such as feeling sad or numb or depressed, losing like interest in the things that you used to like. You can also be having difficulty with doing like normal daily activities, such as going to work, going to school, spending time with like loved ones, like trying to like avoid like having to have any real social like like actions. And it can also be having like outbursts, like being prone to having like outbursts, and or being like easily like irritated. I personally, for me, like that's one that I deal with like a lot. Um, but but the important thing here is to understand that not everyone is going to have the same symptoms or the same severity of like uh of a given symptom. It all varies from individual, and I think this is big uh, note, you know, that needs to be said because I don't think it's brought up enough. But it's an important to note that civilians can have a PTSD as well as military veterans. So it's not just ones in the military that can have a PTSD. Like even though that it's more common with like individuals who that who are or who were in the military. So next, I'm going to go into the definition for trauma. This comes from Google AI, and it states that at its core, that it's the psychological, emotional, and physiological response to an event or to a series of events that is or maybe deeply distressing or disturbing. Um, and so that it can have significant and lasting effects on an individual. That it can that it can overwhelm their ability to cope and can leave them feeling helpless, threatened, or even unsafe. So, learning to recognize the potential and impacts of trauma, um, all four categories as well as the different examples for each category is coming from Google AI. So it's important to to understand that trauma is subjective. What one person experiences as a traumatic event, that another person may not. The effects of trauma can be profound and can manifest in various ways across different areas of a person's life. So basically, what all that means is that, is that trauma can impact, like, it's like everyone like a differently. That just because that I think that something was a traumatic event, that it doesn't mean that the next person does, you know, because again, it varies by individual. It depends on like each individual. So the first category that I'm going to go over is emotional. So it's having fear, anxiety, panic attacks, sadness, depression, like having like irritability, like anger, feelings of shame or guilt, being emotionally numb, so not like feeling like anything at all, like being connected like to like our to like our own of feelings, and it can also be a difficulty with regulating different emotions. The second category that I'm going to go over is cognitive, and that can include flashbacks and intrusive memories that the individual may have nightmares are related to the traumatic event, difficulty concentrating on different things, like there's a lot going on like in their mind at once, and they can't really just like focus on just one thing. I know that personally that that it's something that I deal with, and that I try to navigate through on a regular basis. So the individual could also have memory problems, negative beliefs, such as like I can't get anything right, I can't never do anything right. That it's like all my fault. Like if I had done this, then it wouldn't have happened. They can also have distorted thinking. I will say, for me, like another big one from this category that I deal with is memory problems. Like remembering to take medication. Remembering, like doctor appointments, or things that my son has to get done, or places I have to go to, or events that I have to attend because I told somebody that I would go in order to provide support to them. And that one of the things that has helped me, and yes, I'm going to uh, therapy to also help with this, but I've noticed, that if I make like a list of things that I have to get done for each like week, such as what I have to get done for the videos that week, if I have to do them that week, creating, like script if I need to, so that way that I know what that I want to say and that I don't get lost in my own thoughts. Like which day am I going to re-record it? Like what days am I going to like work on it? Like when do I have to have it done by? Which lately, that it's been a little like wonky. Um, but just like having like that like list, that it does help. I mean, it's not perfect by like any like means, like at all, and then like on my calendar, like on my phone, like that I'll at times type in certain like events for the week, for the month, that I know that I won't get reminders for. Like a lot of the doctors appointments I get reminders for, so I try to pay them attention to those. Um, but yeah, but it's a process, and what works for one person to help them cope and to deal with that issue may not work for the next person. So it's trying and testing out things till you find what actually works best, for you. So the next category that I'm going to talk about is physical, and that can include uh changes with someone's sleep and their appetite. Like they can sleep too much, not not get like not get enough rest. They can like eat too much, or like not eat like enough at all. So that can also include fatigue, uh, and chronic pain, muscle tension, and increased startle response. Like they're always on a like edge. It's like the at least a little noise that it startle them. So that's also can be referred to as being hyper vigilant, which just basically means that they're on edge and that they have an increased startle response. You know, for me, I mean, it's like mentally, it's like I think that, it's that I am tired like a lot. It's like I have like a rough time sometimes, dozing off because my mind it won't stop thinking, like it won't stop, like worrying about this, worrying about that, or like thinking about what I have to do for this or that, or, or what somebody else may like need, and like on and on and on and on, and the next thing that I know that it's after 2 a.m. and I'm just now starting to quiet my thoughts so I can actually rest. Um, I mean, chronic pain for me that I do deal with that comes from from one of the events that I am working through. Um, Still yet, because like it still like bothers me in a lot of like other ways, like in my my day-to-day life. So the last category that I'm going to go over is behavioral, and that can include avoidance of places, people, or activities that trigger memories, social withdrawal, uh, substance abuse, um, taking a lot of risks, so like risky behavior. They can also have like a relationship like difficulties, which could be, like feeling close to like someone else, like being like empathetic, to like what they're going through. And like I know, like for me, it's like at times that I do have, you know, um, those moments where it's like, it's like I don't truly feel, like connected or like attached, to like loved ones, or to, like, or, to like other people who I've uh, who I've come to like know. Um, so so that's one thing that I've dealt with. Um, but for me, like I say, like the biggest one, by like 4, is like avoiding things, you know. Um, you know, for me, that's kind of like being on the like road a lot, going to certain places, um, being around certain things, um, you know, like like even at times, like people, like if they're like acting a certain way, that triggers me, then it's like I have to, like leave, and go somewhere else, you know. But if I'm on the road, like I don't really like have that option. I have the option to pull over, when that I need to. You have the option to have somebody else in the vehicle like with me, who can try to help me stay calm. I have like the option to choose the like music that I listen to. Um, like different things that I've learned like over time that can help me get through some of that. Um, like like some of the like mental like aspects. It's like of that. Um, so in addition to Google AI, I also did some research through NAMI, and one thing that I've learned uh, through that research is that it's important to note that the impact of trauma is actually much broader, longer lasting, and far more physically and psychologically it'll it'll psychologically harmful than previously thought. So there has been expanded knowledge of trauma and traumatic events that has been that is re of that is reflected in the American Psychiatric Association's DSM VTR. And so this particular version of the manual that is used by mental health clinicians, and it includes a new category, which is trauma and stressor related disorders. So it does include a PTSD and other conditions that can come about from being exposed to trauma or to traumatic event. So learning to understand the potential causes of PTSD. So the majority of the information that I'm going to go over on this topic comes directly from the VA. So it's important to note that any experience that threatens your life or someone else's life, that it can cause PTSD. These types of events are sometimes called trauma. The individual may not have control of what is happening to them or to someone that they know during this kind of event, and as a result, that they may feel afraid. So, some types of traumatic events that can cause a PTSD are combat and other military experiences, sexual or physical assault, learning about the violent or the accidental death or the injury of a loved one, childhood sexual or physical abuse, serious accidents such as severe car accident, natural disasters such as fire, tornado, a hurricane, flood, or an earthquake. Another event that can cause a PTSD is terrorist attacks. So what are some healthy ways of managing or dealing with one or both of the topics that I have gone over, that are the co-main mental health topics of this month, which are PTSD and trauma. So the information that I'm going to go over for as this topic is concerned will come from Google AI, the VA, and also NAMI. So one way that it can be managed is through therapy, whether that be like in visual therapy, family therapy, group therapy, or through trauma focused uh, psychotherapy. That another way is to through medication, or it could be a combination of both medication and also a form of therapy. Self care is a big one. Just trying to make some time for your own self, like doing something for like a and not something that's more so for someone else, you know. It doesn't have to be like anything big at all. It can be as little as going to the barber shop or to the salon, you know. So it doesn't have to be like anything big at all. Um, and I think that one of the most important things, you know, by far, is to build a strong support system. Like I think that is definitely one of the biggest and most important things, when trying to manage and to deal or to cope with like any of the topics that I have went over. It is also important to be aware that the of effects of trauma can persist even with supporting and treatment. So so I take that to mean this, that to understand that everyone is going to respond to treatment differently, that it will take time, to heal. It will take time to learn like what treatment methods, like work best, which coping mechanisms work best. And I will have a list of websites and resources at the end of this video that will provide a more in-depth like overview of the different types of treatment options and therapy options. I will also have like videos at the end as well that can provide like resources or or some more in-depth like knowledge on different like aspects that we sometimes have to deal with or work through when going through this. So this is the part of the video where I generally talk about how it relates to me, right? So how does a PTSD and trauma apply to my life? Well, I've already briefly went over, some of the symptoms, that I deal with, but I haven't really spoken about any of the events that have led to that, or have led to me having PTSD. So I want to just focus on and to speak about key traumatic events that I've gone through, like in my life, that I think have led to a lot of the symptoms and have led to me being diagnosed with having PTSD. So I guess the first traumatic event is Israel would be normalizing violence in my environment. So showing that I was growing up. I would say for the first 10 years of of my life. Didn't always love in the best area, as far as being safe goes, so I recall having, to spend time eating dinner on the floor, because it was a drive-by going on, or somebody was shooting at another person or whatever, just violence, that happens, at random intervals, but it happens nonetheless, and and it's I didn't realize it, but I do now that looking back on that, it's that I found a way to normalize it, as if to say this is totally normal, to have to deal with this kind of stuff, and I look at it now and I'm like, no, dude, there's nothing normal about that, about having to eat on the carpet because you're afraid that you're gonna get shot if you sit up on the sofa to eat, because you're afraid that a stray bullet may go through the window or through the door or whatever, there's nothing normal about that, that's not something that I think should ever be normalized, and normalizing it kind of explains some of the other stuff that I dealt with, and why it didn't impact me the way that it would someone else. So the next traumatic event that I'm going to briefly go over is enduring childhood abuse. I was abused both sexually and physically. And like, I could be wrong, but it's like that. I think that kids are like often targets because that um that at that age, it's like they were like easier to manipulate. Like it's easier for us to potentially black out things, and just act like everything is like normal when we're around certain people, like even if they are the ones who have hurt us, the ones that who are still hurting us, you know, like I know, like for me, it's like I had like one point in time where I had to get on this machine, to help loosen up my back, and stuff that when I was like a kid. After I was in a car accident with my mom, and being on that machine, in the way that it felt, like I didn't feel okay, for some like a reason that triggered the sexual abuse that I went through. And then as far as the like other like abuse goes, I would say that it was physical, it was mental, and it was emotional. Maybe not all at the exact same time, but over the span of time, yeah. You know, um, it's like even now, like if that someone yells at my son like a certain way, like that triggers me. Like it brings back like memories that I have buried, that I've locked away, that I've put behind multiple doors with locks and stuff that didn't like safe, and then put chains around that. But it takes me back there, where like I'm in, it's like where it's like that I'm by the door, or like I'm like in the hallway, or like I'm in that corner like of the like room or whatever. Like it brings all of that back to me. And and being triggered and having those memories come back. That it's like a lot to deal with. One, and number two, when that does happen, that it's like oftentimes, it's like I get my kid, and I go to where his safe space is at, and we hang out there, like until things calm down, like around us, um, and yeah, it's like enough on that one, and it's just too much stuff there to try to talk about here. Like I talk about it more in depth and another a monthly mental health topic of video, but right now, yeah, it's just too much for me to go like into. So I would say like the next traumatic event was several severe like car accidents. I guess you could say it was like two severe like car accidents. The first one being one about counts. If you look at the vehicle, it should have took my life, you know. But it's like, before the like impact happened, you know, it's like everything around me slowed down because I was able to prevent my mind from going to a state of panic, because I know that if that I panic, I'm basically like already like dead, you know, because I can't like rationalize anything, because I can't think of a possible way like out of this, you know. You know, and so you have that one. Then you have the one that I think that this one that it messed with me like a lot, like mentally, like, and you know, again, like physically, what, like ligament damage, like in one of my legs, you know. You know, the, that with some like rest, you know, and taking it like easy, you know, I was able to come back from, you know. But then you have the mental like aspect. You have the aspect where that, to me, like, I'm a mom. So because I'm a mom, I mean, I'm supposed to do everything I can in my power to keep my kid safe. And, you know, and I felt so helpless, so powerless. You know, like, like, I literally felt like I felt my kid, you know? You know, it's like that I feel like that the accident was my fault, even though that it obviously wasn't. You know, like that I feel, you know, it's like if only, you know, like I didn't have to go to get him some pain medicine. You know, if I had like enough at like the house to last him like over the like a weekend. You know, like if only I went a different route back home, you know, then we wouldn't have got to the accident. But when you look at both of those like accidents, you know, it's like if that, you know, if I didn't get hit, you know, then somebody else was, you know, and you don't know if that other person, that if they would have made it out, you know. So I think that plays like a part, you know, like in that too, you know, and like learning how to cope, to deal, you know, to like navigate through all of that trauma, you know. And the last key traumatic event that I'm going to go over is one that happened more like recently. You know, that I had a frightening tornado, like I had a frightening tornado like incident. So it started off like any other normal day, you know, like you're out and about, you know, that you're trying to get, you know, some items from the store that you need, you know, and, you know, and then the next thing that I know, that, you know, that the sky changes, and that the alert on my phone and my mom's is going off. And about a little bit like after that, then you heard the sirens go off. But the alarm on the alert system on the phone was the first to go off. So I'm like, okay, like it's getting bad out here. Like I need to hurry up, go into the store. I go over. My mom had asked me to put the order in for her and to come like right back out so we can start to head home, and so it's like I go in to the store because my mom, that her legs are bothering her way too much for her to go in with me. So I leave her out in the car, and I say, hey, like I'll be like in and out. I'm just gonna go like get your order and then come like right back out, and then we can like leave, because and like a mama, like I'm thinking, it's like any like other, like a typical, like alert that we've had, like it's like the winds may pick up a little bit, they may not. We might see like some heavy like rainfall, but like nothing, that is like unimaginable, like nothing that that you're not prepared for, and so like I go in the store, I go straight to the back, past where the order is at, to go use the restroom. I'm in there for maybe like a couple like minutes or whatever. I come back out. I can hear noise like overhead, so I look up. I see that the beams and the lights are all shaking that are above me. And I know by the way that they're shaking, and I hear like all this extra wind and stuff being tossed around, that I know that it's a good likelihood that we're either really close to where the tornado is, or we're in the eye of it. Just from like research, and I watching all those education like videos with my little one, because he's fascinated by that kind of stuff. It's like that he wants to like learn, like what like causes it, and this and that. So like at this point, like I'm thinking like the heck with the doggone food order. Like let me see where they are trying to get everybody to like go to. So in the meantime, like I'm telling my mom that she needs to come into the store like ASAP. And it took me like a minute to get like a hold of my mom, like on the phone, so it's like I'm already like, it's like the tension is like it's already there, like that sudden notion of survival, and and that mental like impact of like that's like I can't live with myself if I don't make sure that my mom is safe. to make sure my mom can get somewhere safe, and so like the manager is telling everybody to go back to where one of the like in store like of where like one of the freezer rooms is at, because that room can be sealed off, and it's like a safe spot like in the store, so like I look at her and I tell her that I have to go get my mom. I have to go check on my mom. And she's like, well, I can't tell you that you can't leave. It's like I can't make you stay. It's like I can advise you, that the best thing for you to do right now is to go back to the like room that I'm having everybody else go back to. And so like that I acknowledge that, but I still stand firm that I have to go get my mom. So I get to the front of the store. I don't have to worry about like opening up the doors because they're blown wide open. And so like at that point, like I don't know if my mom is even still gonna be like outside, like in the car. Like I mean like where we were like at, and so like all this stuff is going through like my head, and so like I look, I scan the like parking lot, and and like eventually my eyes land on the spot where I remember parking the car at, and so like I rush over there, like against like everything like in me saying, no, you need to go see shelter. It's not safe. You are risking your life. You may not make it. Like, no, like abort like a mission, like I go back, like don't even bother. But and there's like that other part of me that's like, I can't live with myself. If I know my mom is like out there and I don't at least try to do something, I don't at least try to help my mom. So I rush over there and I told her she has to get out, and she says that she can't get out. So then I'm up pulling on the door, she's up pushing on it. The door on her side, it won't open. So I have to think of a plan B. So like immediately that I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try to get you out from the driver's side door if that can open. So the driver's side door that opens up, and I try to help my mom get out from that side. And while I'm doing this, the winds are picking up, and it's like you're fighting against like the wind and the rain, and so like my mom has like a rough time, and like I noticed that, and I'm like, we can't stay outside. Like it's definitely not like safe at all. It's like it's no telling like what can actually go like wrong, right? So and like last this like effort, like I use like all of the strength I have left to pull my mom out from that side, and and then we both fall from the driver's side door. And so it's like that at that point, like the adrenaline level is so high that I don't even feel like the pain, of just slumming down on the parking lot. And then my mom is down, and then she has trouble getting up, and and that my words are, that I can't leave you here. Like, I can't, it's like that we have to go. Like, you have to get up. And she's like, I can't get up. And everything in me is just like saying, okay, you can't die with your mom too. Like, you tried, it didn't work out. You can at least go and to save yourself. And I'm like, no, I can't. It's like, it's either we both die here, or I die attempting to save my mom's life. So, like, eventually, somebody comes by, and they're able to help me get my mom up, and we get inside the store. And while this is happening, like, the winds are picking up, like, off and on, and we go in and we sit down. Like, again, the doors are blown wide open, so you don't have to worry about that part, and we get in side, and like, as like we're getting in side, and I would say, like, within like 5 minutes of being like inside, then the sky starts to lighten up again. It's as if that nothing ever happened. And and it's like, I didn't like ever realize it then, like, in that moment, but that brought back painful, like, memory, when I was a kid. And and it was a bad storm. Like, my dad had to drop me and my sister both off at school. Like, he had to drop me off at junior high, and he had to drop my sister off at elementary school. They weren't close. They weren't too close to each other, like, distance wise, and so, like, the sky is dark, the winds are picking up some, like, it's a downpour, like, it starts to hell outside, and that I'm scared, and my sister is scared, and I'm trying to comfort her, but I'm just as scared as she is, and my dad is yelling at us to come get inside of the truck so he can drive us to school. And and the one part of me is just like, you know what? Don't go outside. Like, it's not safe. Like, the conditions are not safe. Just try to, like, wait it out. And then, like, the other side of me is like, well, if I don't go outside, and he's already, like, as mad as he is, like, right now, what is he gonna do? If we don't go outside. It's like the thought of potential like beating, or like the thought of like any kind of abuse or backlash for not coming outside, that scared me way more than the storm did. Which, like, looking back on that, like that was not rational at all, but it's just the way that I felt, like, it's like in that moment, and being in that frightening tornado incident with my mom, that brought that back up to the surface, like it's not anything that you can prepare for, that I think that you can say, okay, yeah, I can prepare my mind to deal with something like this on not just like a physical level, but a mental and emotional like a level too. Like I don't think that there's like a way to. It's like I really don't. You know, which is why that that I've slowed down on doing like a full on like podcast or like episodes, because I needed a bit of a break, like mentally, but it's but at the end of the day, it's like just because that I found those events to be traumatic, it doesn't mean that somebody else will, because we're all individuals, and things will impact us differently. So, in closing, I want to say, first and foremost, that if you or someone that is going through like anything that I've mentioned, just reach out, to someone to talk to, for starters, it's like look for someone who's gonna like actually, listen to you, and actually to what you have to say, to heart, and not just like brush it off, because like brushing things off, you never know, like if that'll be like the last time that you see them, because that pushed them over, so like that's why I always say, if that someone like comes to you for like help, or if you like offer help, it's like that will be done with a sincere heart, and then like I also want to state for getting into the actual closing statements, that I will have a list of websites listed like off to the side here. And that at the end of this video, at the end of the quote that I put at the end of every single mental health video and in every single full podcast episode, that I will have some direct links to some of my other videos that can provide other resources, and other things, to think about, with regard to everything that has been mentioned and talked about and discussed in this month's mental health video. Now that I have said all of that, I'm going to go into the true closing statements. So one of the big things that I want to stress, is having a support system. Just to have someone who you can go to, when it gets rough, or it gets tough, or you're going through a lot, you're having a difficulty coping or dealing with a lot of the symptoms, the areas that are impacted, because I know for me, that's a big thing, for me, it means a lot to have someone who I can talk to, when that I'm at my worst, and and who can talk me out of that rabbit hole, or out of that dark abyss, and I did not mention this at all throughout the main portion of this month's mental health video, but I do want to state that it's also just as important to have a safe space, a space that you can go, or or somewhere that you can imagine in your mind, where you're at peace, where nothing can harm you. You have something that offers you peace, that it makes you feel safe, and then also therapy, that's one treatment method, whether it be into a visual, a group, or trauma based, but with that, that you have to find which one works best for you, because what works for one person may not work for another person, it just depends, in all means, don't give up, don't stop fighting, and all means, remember that healing, that it does take time, that it won't happen overnight. I don't forget that the things that have happened to you, like along your journey in life, that they don't have to define you, and they don't have to control you. Like they don't have to control the way that you choose to like love, you know. Um, and by all means, like like it goes without being said, that it's important to remember that there is hope, that you're not like alone in this, that, it's like that you can find that you can find, like a healthy way, to deal in to like a cope, with the things that you have gone through, you know, um, because like it's a lot easier, to give up than it is to keep going, you know, to keep on fighting, to keep hope alive that there will be a brighter day, you know, um, and I think that a lot of times that we tend to turn like a blind eye, to what that someone is going through, or even to what that we're going through, like that we just miss it for whatever reason, and 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 if you recognize like a change, like in someone's behavior, from the way they usually act or respond to different things, you know, then then by all means, talk to that person, and if you do choose talk to them because you notice that something's off, I just ask that that you do it with a sincere heart, like don't be like a bystander, don't be the one who noticed that there was something off, and chose not to say anything, that chose not to ask that person anything, and then that you hear that person that they did something that they can't come back from, and that if maybe, if you would have had stopped them, that one day, and had I talked to them or had told one of their loved ones that something was off, that you were concerned about them, then maybe, that things would have turned out differently. But end of the day, it's we don't know what's going to happen next. That we don't. But I do know that a lot of things that do happen, that do go wrong, that they can be that they are preventable. It's just a matter of just looking, and noticing, and observing, and I'm making a note, just you know just don't you know, just don't like turn a blind eye to it. You know, it's like if you see something that's off, you know, there's something that's off. You know, take action. You know, do something about it. You know, and if you can't help them, you know, then try to point them in the direction, you know, to where somebody can help them. You know, um, you know, like I will say, you know, it's that. I mean, like it takes like a lot, you know, to be able to try to function on like any like a level, you know, like it's like it takes like a lot like out of you, you know, like a lot of times like it takes like all that you have, you know, and people don't truly like understand that, you know, and I don't think there's any way to make them like understand that, you know, if they haven't gone through like something like that, if they haven't like a witnesses, that if they don't know somebody that who has gone through something like that, you know, if they, you know, I mean, like it's kind of hard, you know, um, but that's the thing that I can say that I am appreciated, you know, and I was in a group, you know, therapy sessions. You know, it's like everybody there that they understood to an extent, you know, like what the next person was actually going through, with how they felt about certain things, you know, and that made you feel like you had support. You know, it's like that you felt like you were in a safe space. You know, I mean, and it's like there's like a lot of different things. You know, that a person can do that is both healthy and effective, like in terms of dealing with or coping with things, you know, to like navigate through that roller coaster, you know. You know, but just don't give up. You know, like if you watch this video, you know, and that it helps you, that it helps build your understanding, like of things like a little bit more, or that it helps you see that perhaps someone that you know could be suffering from, you know, some of the symptoms, you know, then then hopefully, that like alert you, to at least, like talk to them, like about getting help, if they're not already, like getting help, you know. Yeah, so like as sorry, like I mentioned, like the whole like purpose and point of this, is to spread like awareness, is to and is to increase like understanding and like knowledge, and it comes to like certain things, you know. So now that I've said all of that, I'm going to end on the same note that I do on every other video. Until next time, I hope everyone has a safe and a wonderful week.